So it's Wednesday, and as you can see, I'm back here in my gym, and you might quite rightly say to yourself, so what? Well, let me explain. Wednesday is not a lifting day for me. Wednesday is yoga day. But because of COVID-19, all that's gone by the by, as it has for many, many other things that people do on a regular basis. And you might think, well, why is that important? For people like me, we run our lives on routine. Routine is everything. I benchmark my days by what I'm actually doing on the day. And so Monday would be boxing, Tuesday rest day, Wednesday yoga, Thursday lift, and so on. And that's all gone out the window. Now you might say, why is that important? And the reason is quite simple. When you have a lot of things to do, when you have a lot of inputs, a lot of stimuli coming in, the only thing that keeps you on track is routine. The only thing that keeps you making sane decisions and decisions that are not made on the fly is the notion of routine. And this is particularly true in trading. And often people rebel against this notion that trading is a routine activity. That's often described as being humdrum or mundane. Those terms are used in the pejorative. They're meant to cast aspersions on the notion that routine is something that should be avoided, when in actual fact it should be something that is embraced by all traders. And it's here that we get to the schism or dichotomy between discretionary traders and systems-based traders. In my more cynical moments, I describe discretionary trading as simply pulling trades out your ass, because that's what it appears to everybody else. And look, to be honest, that's by and large what it is. Mechanical trading or systems-based trading is based around the notion of routine. You do the same thing in the same way every day, and that never alters, that doesn't change. And it's done that way for a few reasons. The first is that when we come to trading with a set of cognitive biases. And these biases influence the way we think. They upset our decision-making process. By and large, all people want out of life is to meet other people who agree with what they say. So humans are a giant bundle of confirmation bias. They are individuals going around seeking support for their existing opinions. This is why social media is a problem, because it acts as an echo chamber. It reinforces those opinions. Being a systems trader forces you to leave that aside. You can't actually bring your opinions to the table. You may try, but a lot of the time they will agree with the system. Now granted, it is up to you whether you follow your system or not. That is your decision-making process. That is something you must decide for yourself. But we have this notion that discipline brings freedom, and it does, because it frees you from all those internal bits and pieces of being human that will upset the process. When you look at discretionary trading, that is people who make up trades on the fly, they believe they have some great unconscious competency that no one else can see. I've never, in all my decades of doing that, seen that to be proven correct. Every very, very successful trader I've ever seen, irrespective of their style, is a systems trader. You might think that James Simons and Warren Buffett are at opposite ends of the pole. They're not. Their methodology has nuances that are idiosyncratic to them, but at their heart they are systems traders. So there is no effective fundamental difference. And what happens with discretionary traders is that they bring to the table their biases, the things they think will happen. Humans also have this failing. And the failing is that we think we know more than we do. We think we bring something special to the decision-making process. And you see this in trading all the time. People think that because they're doing something in a particular way, or they've seen something, their skill set has brought something to the decision-making process. They're seeing something that others don't. I used to see this all the time with analysts when I worked in broking. they would think they had discovered a stock and that no one else at any stage had come close to their level of insightful brilliance at finding this stock. This stock was generally some shit-pot mining dog out of Western Australia, because they all come out of Western Australia or Queensland, let's face it. And they were so enamoured by their own process and their own need for confirmation bias that any variant perception was problematic for them. And this is the notion of routine. What routine effectively does in trading, what systems trading does, is it effectively brings to the table a variant perception, a perception that might be different to yours. Your trading system might have a completely different view to you. You might think that given all the things you've heard, all the things you've seen, that the world's ending, blah, 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 that the market is a sell. Your system might tell you something completely different. Your system is offering this variant perception, and it's the perception that's true because it is simply based upon the data it is seeing. It's not based upon the perceptual filter through which you are processing all the information you receive. So, whilst it may seem silly for me to say that today is Wednesday and I shouldn't really be lifting because today is yoga day, at the heart of that is the notion of routine guides everything we do. And unfortunately, people rebel against this. When you look at the motivations of traders, most traders are motivated by entertainment. Entertainment comes not from routine, not from doing the mundane same thing, same way, day out. It comes from variety. The majority of traders are a little bit like children. They want a constant variety and a constant stream of inputs. When you adopt a mechanical approach, you put that all aside because what becomes paramount to you are simply the rules. And the rules govern absolutely everything, from when you take a trade, the time of the day you take the trade, how many you buy, where you put your stop. Absolutely everything is governed by that. It is not a process being made up on the fly. And unfortunately, too many traders are consumed by the notion that they bring something special to the trading process. It could be that they think that because of their background they bring a special skill set. Yeah, no you don't. You really, really don't. It may be because they believe they possess an intrinsic quality. This quality is generally something like having some connection with the vibrations or psychic energy of the stock. Yeah, of course you do, because reasons. But really what you're attempting to do is to either find some way to validate how you feel, to find someone else to validate how you feel, and to express that validation through you all having this collective group think. Unfortunately, in the market, the only group think that matters is the market's group think. Yours is complete irrelevancy. Anything you think, say or do is nonsense. Now, a carefully designed system is designed to pick up on that. And so the central issue becomes, and this is always a central issue, it is up to you to follow the system or not. And many people have very good systems that they refuse to follow. They have a collection of internal mechanisms, issues that simply prevent it. That's okay, that's a different decision-making matrix. That's a different problem. But at the end of the day, the system knows everything. And so it's really up to everyone to decide what they're going to do with that. And in deciding what to do with that, you opt for one of two things. You either suck it up and go, yep, this is really boring, but this is the way it works, and this is the way it goes. It's a little bit like training programs. Training programs are really dull after you've been on them for 2 or 3 years. But they, despite what people say, they do not lose their effectiveness. That's what we term bro science. That's what people who've done far too many bicep curls and taken far too much testosterone think. Everyone else understands that repetition has a power. and it has a power of its own. The second alternative is simply that you don't bother. You can't suck it up. You believe trading is mundane and you move on. That's okay. The market won't miss you. No one else will miss you. That's the terrible thing about markets. They really don't care if you exist or not. They are probably the ultimate symbol of unrequited love. Don't give a shit.